I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Too many see the protests as the problem. Please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Go to the Hill today. Get up in the face of some Congress people.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
Running away from Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
When they go low, we kick.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Welcome to The Right Angle, bringing news, culture, and politics from a conservative perspective. So we know what happened yesterday. We know what went down. We have seen, well, I've personally seen the videos and all the things that have been connected to this. I mean, probably 1,000 times, probably annoying the hell out of my wife. God bless her. But, this is the moment that we're in. And I do want to say, prayers out to the victims. And definitely Donald Trump, it's not that he's more valuable than those people who've died or the people who were wounded, the folks that are in this psychotic tragedy, that are mentally sort of disoriented. It's about the moment. This was a miracle. You probably haven't seen the angles. You probably haven't seen the different things and whatnot, but that's fine. This was truly a miracle from God. And as we think about the days to come, and we think about how we got here, we just have to keep that in mind. But as far as the subject matter of this video, the Democrats like to say that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. They repeat it ad nauseum. But yesterday we saw what a real threat to democracy really looks like. What a threat really looks like. Imagine if that bullet had hit Trump. Imagine if he hadn't turned his head. I can tell you personally, that would not have been something that I was okay with. I'm just glad I didn't have to see that side of myself. We've seen reactions. We've seen the things that the other side is saying. And the reason why I have this channel is to, one, talk through my thoughts, right? It's kind of like selfish. Two, I want to educate people on what I see, my perspective. And three, I want to gain more experiences based upon the research and things I have to dig into for these videos. But what I keep seeing is not really good, because what I keep seeing is that when Democrats say that someone is a threat to democracy, and when that threat is targeted and the goal to end that person is not achieved, then things really come to light as far as who they are.
My dad just called me to tell me that Trump got shot, and I said good over the phone. And he was like, don't say that over the phone. Like, you can't say that over the phone. And I just want to make this as a public apology to my FBI agent. I don't believe in guns, but I just wanted to support a good cause.
Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say.
So close. I'm not going to expand on what I'm about to say, because it'll probably get taken down. But, like, A for effort, man. Good for trying. He tried. There was an attempt made. So close.
Literally had one job. One fucking job. A job that lots of other people wish they could have. And you had it. And you missed. How the fuck did you miss? Not only did you miss, you didn't even graze him. You didn't even pinch the bitch. Now you're about to go get waterboarded for no reason. You didn't even complete the mission. Charlie is upset. I hope your parents are super disappointed in you. How could you?
We see what is out there these videos I showed, I promise you, are the milder versions of everything that's out there in the interweb, so to speak. But can you just imagine? You know, back in 2020, during the George Floyd fiasco, the drug user, drug dealer guy, the country was burned to the ground. Billions of dollars were wasted. You also had, back in 2016, when Trump won the presidential election, riots. And the reason why you probably don't remember that is because those events are what we call memory hold, purposely not reported on by the media in a negative light, so that the population forgets and moves on very quickly. But you look at stuff like, with the exception of J6, the Trump conviction, many other examples, obviously yesterday with the assassination attempt. Today, did you see the 110 million conservatives in this country burning down the country? Did you see one act of violence? No, what you've seen from the right is a call to go back to God, a call to seek those prayers, to look for the healing and understanding. And that's what you get from conservatives. And yeah, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but these are the people I know, the people I love, right? These are the people I'm around, so I know them. And I can only speak from my experiences. But you can also see from the actions as well. The leader of our movement, this is not about party, was almost killed. And we did not cause one act of disobedience. That should tell you who we are on our side. And you see those videos I just showed you, that should tell you who they are. If you're one of these people that are still on the fence, I understand, right? It's hard to understand a lot of this stuff. What to believe? Do you even care? Maybe you're a young guy, 20 years old, bus boy, trying to get by. You don't care about politics. You want to go out and have fun with your friends. Maybe you're a soccer mom, 4 kids, husband's working all the time. You're stuck at home. You're too busy to worry about what's going on. You just worry about what the View says. There's a lot of things that are happening in this world that you gotta understand. And, that's what I'm here for, to try to make sure that you do, at least from my perspective. Obviously, be a critical thinker. Don't just take everything you hear at face value. Don't read a headline and say, oh, that's the story, right? But anyway, we see what is out there. These, like I said, these videos I showed you are milder ones, but you can just imagine what's out there. And really, I think this is more good versus evil. And let me say this. Every individual out there is responsible for their own actions. There's no one that can make you do anything. If you do something, you are the one that has to be responsible and pay those consequences. There's always good or bad consequences, right? And those circumstances that build from those consequences is what every man has to deal with. Whatever motivation that person had is between him and God, right? We'll see if there's more about him or any connections he had, probably with other agencies, with other people. We don't know. And I'm not in a position here to theorize about it, because I'm not in a position to really understand those facts. I have to read and digest just like everyone else. So we'll see that. We'll also see about the response from the Secret Service. No, I'm not talking about the folks on the ground. They were brave. Besides the incident with the women freaking out, take that for whatever you want. I don't think women should be protecting men like that. But I'm talking about the folks in charge. What did Biden know and when? What did Mayorkas know? What did Cheeto know and when? Did she really decide not to give them extra protection when they requested it? Who knows? But so far, this is what we're getting out of that topic.
New information for you. A senior Secret Service source familiar with the planning of yesterday's event tells NBC News that the roof where the shooter was located was a well-known, high-priority vulnerability. It was identified just the day before during a security walkthrough. We've also just learned that there were 2 counter-sniper teams on site and that the counter-sniper did not need approval to shoot. One source telling NBC News that prior protocols were not followed. The FBI now says the alleged shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, appears to have acted alone. This all provides new context for the shocking scene last night in Butler, Pennsylvania, already burned into our...
So with that, we'll see in the future how those questions pan out, how those things and these new discoveries, there's going to be answers upon answers eventually. But right now, all we got is questions, and all we got is theory, right? So we'll see. But what we also see from the people out there are comparisons of each side as far as, the rhetoric and whatnot. And you have folks saying, oh, this is a both sides issues. What about January 6th? What about Nancy Pelosi's husband? Those things are not comparable, okay? The guy, Nancy Pelosi's husband, was some kind of a nutcase that is not connected to anyone on the right. J6 was a riot, yes, but it was not an insurrection, okay? What we saw was that President Trump was almost killed. That's a completely different thing. And, really, Democrats have been going on about he's Hitler, he's a threat to democracy. But now, what are they going to say? Think about this, right? Now the Democrats are in between a rock and a hard place. You can't come out and say, oh, we wish him thoughts and prayers if he's Hitler. If he's Hitler, then he doesn't deserve thoughts and prayers, right? You can't have it both ways. You can't come out and say, oh, violence is never the answer, while 10 seconds ago you said we want to put a target on his back. It's not the same thing. Saying that Trump is Hitler is not the same as saying Crooked Joe. There's no similarities there, right? One is, it's an attack, but it's not saying that the other guy is Satan, right? Saying Donald Trump is a bigger threat than like World War II to this country is of the extreme hyperbolic, bordering on insane, okay? But the good thing is we're starting to see a change. We're starting to see that even though there's tragedy, while there's still many questions that remain, it's still out there. We're starting to see stuff like this happen throughout the country in segments of the population one would not believe would be vouching for Donald Trump.
I see a lot of people making posts. Oh, don't joke about the situation yesterday with Trump. Oh, it's not a laughing matter. If Trump would have passed away or anything of that nature, no, it would not be a laughing matter. But the fact that somebody tried to kill him and he didn't hit the deck, and when the security tried to rush him off the stage, he put that motherfucking fist up, reassuring the people that I'm okay. Because they was looking nervous, like, oh my God, is Trump good? He was like, hold on, wait. Boom. If y'all don't want nobody fighting for y'all to do some shit like that, then I don't know what y'all talking about. The fact that they tried to shove that man in an SUV and he stood up and put his motherfucking fist up with his head out the window, he could have still been a target. And he's like, fuck it, I'm good, y'all. Y'all think he ain't about to go to his next rally and talk his shit? They tried to assassinate that man. He still stays strong. If I hear some gunshots, I'm running. You feel what I'm saying? We're not laughing at that he could have been killed. No. We're laughing at the situation that he was unbothered and unfazed about the whole situation. Even when he was bleeding and even when he was a target, he still held his motherfucking fist up. See the bigger picture. That motherfucker will die for us literally and go out with his motherfucking fist up. Man, America.
Well, I do apologize for the language there. I wanted to just play that because I was so spellbound by it. It was authentic and real. And, it reminds me of a sermon today in church. Where the pastor was talking about the story of Joseph. Joseph gets thrown in the pit. He goes into slavery, gets jailed, becomes a master of the servants, and eventually ends up like the prime minister of Egypt, saving them from famine. Right? We all know the story. And in that story, we see how the story of Joseph is familiar to all of us in hard times. And the events of Joseph's time reminds me of what we're going through today with what we experienced yesterday. Joseph is a man who was chosen to lead by God, had to go through hell to get there, sold into slavery by his own brothers, jailed, and had many other trials and tribulations. Yet he rose to this second in command in Egypt. He showed grace to his brothers by not retaliating against them. He showed wisdom and virtue. He guided them to make good decisions for the greater good, and ultimately, like I said, saved the nation from famine. And you contrast that same story to what we have with the president, President Trump. While not a saint, he has gone through his trials and tribulations. He's been persecuted. He's been bankrupted. He's been visually attacked. And he's been physically attacked. But when he was shot, I believe by God Almighty he was saved. An impossible to miss shot from 130 to 160 yards away. I shoot, and I'm telling you, if I'm within 230 yards, I'm hitting that mark every single time. It was a miracle he was saved. God's hand was on Trump, just as God's hand was on Joseph. And like my pastor said today, God uses events, even terrible ones, even horrible ones, like when Joseph was thrown in a pit, or when Trump was almost assassinated. He takes those moments and he turns them to his will. And that will today, I believe, is a unifier. I believe Trump within the RNC convention is going to deliver one of the most unifying speeches you've ever heard in your life. To miss it, you will be a fool. And he will be the 47th. And I'm behind him 1,000%. And don't be afraid anymore. Wear your hats. Put the stickers on your car. Talk about it to your friends. If they go away, they don't understand the stakes. It's fine. But fight. Like I said yesterday, he's fighting for you. Know that. Fight for Trump. And fight for the Republic. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. You know the thing. To hear more from the right angle. And as always, stay curious, ask questions, think critically, and you will find the truth.